China is buying up the United States. Facebook wants to be your reality, and men, your mobile phone could be making you sterile. This is SkyWatchTV for Wednesday, February 24th, 2016. I'm Derek Gilbert. First up, don't put too much faith in that ceasefire announced for Syria on Monday. All the parties involved have too much invested in winning the Battle of Aleppo. If Syria and its Russian and Iranian allies are victorious, the rebellion against Bashar al-Assad is basically over. So Turkey continues shelling the Azaz corridor in northern Syria in a not very subtle effort to keep the supply lines open for the rebels around the city of Aleppo. And once the battle is over, assuming they win, Hezbollah, Iranian allies and proxies, not likely to pack up and go back home to Lebanon. They'll probably stick around to provide security for Shiite enclaves in Syria. And Russia's not likely to go home either. These new bases that they've put together in Syria for air assets and naval base allow Vladimir Putin to project Russian power into the eastern Mediterranean in a new way. Now, Turkey has said it absolutely will not allow the development of a terror crescent along its southern border, hence the ongoing shelling of the Syrian Kurds in northern Syria. And Europeans who are watching all this, recognizing that Turkey is a NATO ally, are getting nervous. The German newspaper Der Spiegel reports that the possibility of being drawn into a war between Russia and Turkey is keeping German lawmakers awake nights. Said it reminds them of 1962 and the Cuban Missile Crisis, where Syria is the 2016 version of Cuba. And like then, they may have the world on the brink of an all-out, possibly nuclear war. Now remember, Turkey has already had 2 strikes against Russia, shooting down a Russian drone, and then that Russian Su-24 fighter bomber back in November. The Turks continue to shell the Syrian Kurds in an area where Russian and Iranian troops are likely operating. If not now, then very soon. And if Turkey tries to get a 3rd strike, they will be out. And if that weren't enough, from the What Can Possibly Go Wrong file, Saudi Arabia, as we've told you before, has moved air assets to the Turkish air base at Incirlik, and they've said that they're ready to send in troops from the kingdom to fight on the side of, well, against the Islamic State, they say, inside Syria. But in an interview in Der Spiegel Friday, the Saudi foreign minister said his country was also in favor of sending surface-to-air missiles to the rebels in Syria. Now remember that the U.S. and the Saudis supplied anti-tank missiles to those rebels, who used one to destroy a Russian helicopter on a search and rescue mission for the Russian pilots shot down by the Turkish Air Force. Is it really a good idea to give these guys weapons they could use to shoot at the Russian Air Force? Now, one bit of interesting news from the Syrian front. It seems that the Islamic State, at least, hasn't lost any faith in the strength of the American dollar. That's right, the greenback is now the official currency of the Islamic State. U.S. dollar, the only form of currency ISIS will accept for tax payments, fines, and utility payments. It's quite a change from the proposed gold and silver-backed currency that they said they would roll out about a year ago. Another setback for U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry. Palestinian Authority Chairman Mahmoud Abbas basically blew him off when Kerry asked him to denounce the ongoing wave of Palestinian terror against Israelis. Abbas is in a position where he doesn't feel any need to negotiate with the U.S. or with Israel. He's holding on to the strategy of waiting for the rest of the world to compel Israel, force Israel, to accept a 2-state solution, an independent Palestine. French President François Hollande, for one, pushing for an international conference toward that 2-state solution. And he's already notified the Israeli government that France will recognize an independent Palestinian state on its own if there's no progress. So Abbas is just sitting back and waiting, turning a blind eye to the ongoing wave of stabbing attacks by Palestinians against Israelis. But it's a fine line that Abbas is walking. He doesn't want to completely alienate Israel to the point that Israel withdraws its security forces from the West Bank. You might remember several years ago when Israel withdrew from the Gaza Strip, Hamas immediately moved in and took over, and Hamas is no friend of Mahmoud Abbas. Now, here's a story that surprised me a little bit, considering the track record of the Chinese economy in the last 9 months or so. Chinese investors are lining up and buying American companies at a record rate in 2016. It's got some people worried. Some of the high-profile sales include General Electric selling off its appliance manufacturing business to the Chinese-based conglomerate Haier. Texas-based heavy lifting equipment manufacturer T-Rex has received a takeover bid that it's considering from a Chinese manufacturer, Zoomlion Heavy Industry. And a Chinese investment group has put together a bid to purchase the Chicago Stock Exchange. So far this year, there are over 100 Chinese outbound mergers and acquisitions in the U.S. worth over $80 billion, compared to just 70 mergers and acquisitions a year ago worth $11 billion. Keep an eye on this trend. Now, here in this image, you see a look at our future. And it's as symbolic as much as it is anything else. That's Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg in the t-shirt with a group of tech nerds at a recent conference showing off the Oculus Rift, which is the virtual reality headset that Facebook acquired in a $2 billion deal just 2 years ago. Zuckerberg is betting that he can make virtual reality social. Do we see the the irony of this here? A whole room of tech nerds sitting there completely lost in an artificial world, while the one guy in the room who's not connected, the elite overlord, if you will, is convincing them that this artificial realm is how humans will socialize in the future. To his credit, he has probably hit on the very means by which transhumanists, the ones at least who are looking for heaven on a silicon chip, will try to achieve immortality. And finally, men, your mobile phone could be making you sterile. This is serious. Researchers have found that using a cell phone for as little as an hour a day could be literally cooking your sperm, lowering levels so much that conceiving a child could be difficult. Researchers found that men who carry a phone in their pants pocket were seriously affected in 47% of the cases they investigated, compared to an average of just 11% of men with a lowered sperm count in the general population. So experts say if you've got to carry a mobile phone, I'm never without one, put it in a shirt or a jacket pocket, not in your pants pocket. And by all means, don't put it on the nightstand when you go to bed. Now, I hope you don't mind that today's update is just a little bit shorter than usual. Sharon and I will be out of town for the rest of the week, and so we're wrapping things up for the week so we can get away to the airport tomorrow morning. Sharon and Tom Horn will be guests on a future episode of It's Supernatural, hosted by Sid Roth. They'll be talking about the documentary film produced by SkyWatchTV and Defender Films, Inhuman, the next and final phase of man is here. And so there will be no SkyWatchTV update tomorrow, Thursday, and on Friday, standing in for Sharon and me, on Sci Friday, Josh Peck, author of Quantum Creation and Cherubim Chariots, along with Joe Artis, the two of them getting a trial run as they're preparing their program to debut on the SkyWatchTV Roku channel, Into the Multiverse. So they will be taking this chair on Friday, and I will see you again next Monday. Now, just a couple of program notes. Again, today being Wednesday, we've got a program airing this afternoon on the Cornerstone Television Network. You'll see SkyWatchTV with Reverend Dr. Robert Bennett talking about his very important books, which I highly recommend for your reference library. Afraid, Demonic Possession and Spiritual Warfare in America, and his first book, I Am Not Afraid, Demonic Possession and Spiritual Warfare, based on his experiences among the Lutherans on the island of Madagascar. Again, that program airs this afternoon, 3:30 p.m. Central Time, 4:30 Eastern on the Cornerstone Television Network. And then on Saturday, we've got a twofer for you. The program airs 3:30 p.m. on the Victory Television Network, that's Arkansas and the Memphis area, and the Christian Television Network Saturday evening at 7:30 p.m., DirecTV Channel 376, Dish Network Channel 267, and the Glory Star Satellite Channel 117, covering the whole of these United States. And of course, the program is available now on the SkyWatchTV channel on Roku and also on YouTube. And you'll find instructions on how to access those at our website, skywatchtv.com. During the month of February, our gift for your financial support, your donation of any amount, is this 8-inch tall, stone-like cross. It's made of resin, so it will sit safely on your desk and display John 3:16, the message of the gospel, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son. Again, that's our gift to you for your donation of any amount to SkyWatch TV during the month of February. Instructions on how to donate posted at skywatchtv.com/donate. And of course, you can help us by clicking on the interwebs here, Facebook, Twitter, and of course, our YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the button down here and subscribe. You'll get a notice every time we post a new update and a new interview. And you can follow me on the internet, Twitter, Facebook, my website, all here, and my email address, dgilbert@skywatchtv.com. In the meantime, have a blessed weekend. I will see you on Monday, and thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is SkyWatch TV.
From the time she was little, Nita dreamed of horses. Every childhood fantasy rode on the back of a heroic white steed, coming to save the day.
I don't know how long I've had this love in my heart for horses. It's just always been there. And when we were little girls, my sister and I would play all day long. I was always the white horse and she was always the little pink pig.
Let's pretend Lightning and Rosie can fly.
But everything changed in a heartbeat. On December 9th, 1971, a tragic car accident claimed the life of my dad and my best friend and my little sister. And I wondered after that if there was anything left to believe in.
Move aside, let the ambulance through. Please move aside.
As a child of 13, I felt like I had lost practically everything. And I wondered, is this it? I mean, where do I go from here? I could not have imagined back then how God could use horses, of all things, to restore my faith and vision for the future.
Starting April 19th, get your copy of Nita Horn's inspirational new book, No Fences, and learn for the first time her amazing story of loss, survival, determination, and healing. How the vision and love God gave her for these beautiful and majestic animals eventually led to the 150-acre Whispering Ponies Ranch, a general retreat facility, as well as a premier training location that specializes in using and gifting therapeutic animals to benefit the herding. Other care facilities, schools, and ministries across the nation.
When God puts something in your heart, it's there for a lifetime.